When the lights go down, the real conversations begin. Welcome to Basic Black After Dark, hosted by Black Diamond, where truth, healing, and growth take center stage. This is the space where mental health, family, healing, and personal growth are talked about, honestly and without filters. Featuring intimate interviews with authors and thought leaders who aren't afraid to share their journey. Because every story told reminds someone watching, you are not alone. Basic Black After Dark, now streaming on the Crew platform. Tap in. Tap in.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Distinguished Authors Guild DAG Award winners. Congratulations and welcome to Basic Black After Dark, where literature meets legacy and where every page turned becomes a pathway to purpose. Now, a few weeks ago, we gathered in the heart of Chicago, a city rich with culture, resilience, and unstoppable creativity, under the dynamic leadership of our phenomenal host, Gina Gadsden. That evening stood as a tribute to authors whose work challenges systems, inspires generations, and tells the stories the world needs to hear. Tonight, we honor writers who didn't just publish books, they birthed movements. Writers who turned their pain into purpose, their imagination into impact, and their voices into vehicles of transformation. So, to all our honorees, nominees, and distinguished winners, your words matter, your stories matter. And tonight, we celebrate you. We celebrate you, Farron McLemore, a 2025 Distinguished Authors Guild Award winner, DAG ambassador, and author of The Voice of a Mother's Pain. She's using her story to champion self love and disability advocacy. And who could forget Brittany Thomas? Now, she's not here right now, but she may pop in. She's an award winning author and motivational speaker. She is the founder of Jets Angels Incorporated and the powerful voice and DAG award winning Don't Let the Wheelchair Fool You. She's inspiring faith, resilience, and purpose. Then there's Latanya R. Goodson, the award winning author of Learn, Release, Walk. She's empowering women to heal, grow, and walk boldly in self discovery. And up next is Miss Natalie Murphy, a multi award winning, I mean 5 times award winning romance author of Make Room for Romance and other books as well. It's a flirty guide to passion and play. She is a self publishing coach and contributor to Melanin and Marriage magazine. And who could forget Shantae Conyers, award winning community leader and DAG's award winning author of Being Pretty is Hard Work. You can see by looking at it, yes, it is hard work. Mentoring women and children to own their confidence and purpose. And last but certainly not least is Andrew Reed. He is a two-time DAG award winner for 2022 poetry, Purpose of Being, and 2025 From Darkness to Light. He is also an Honor Society scholar and proud father of three, representing excellence, leadership, and legacy. Welcome, winners, to Basic Black After Dark.
Hello.
Hello. How is everybody after that big win?
Doing great.
Doing
Congratulations.
great. Congratulations. I say
Doing
applause
fabulous.
alone, right?
Congrats to
Doing
everybody.
fabulous. Congrats to everybody. Yes. So let me ask you all, as an author, your journey is just beginning. I know some of you've been in the game for a while, but every time you write a book, for me at least, it seems like it's just the beginning. It's an what inspired the stories that earned you a DAG recognition? Anyone can answer that because you're all winners. So what inspired your story?
Well, I'll
Well,
start.
I'll start.
My book, One Song,
My
that
book,
won
One
this
Song,
year,
that
is
this
number
year is
four
number
in my
four
first
in my
romance series.
romance series.
So
Wow.
my
So
readers enjoyed the first story, Then Came You, so much that they wanted to know more of Brian and Zanaya's story. So then I came up with One Song.
wow, one song. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You were beautiful that night, so was everyone. My
Thank
goodness.
you.
Anyone else want to share? Thank you. Was there a defining moment when you knew you had to write this book, anyone?
Yeah, when I had
Yeah, when
like
I had
the third
like
person say,
the
"Hey,
third
what
person
happened with
say,
Brian
"Hey,
and
what
Zanaya?"
happened with Brian?"
I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I've got to write this story because people are waiting for it. They want to know." So yeah, that was my inspiration, and it was the perfect book number 3 to round off the 4-part series.
So was there a defining moment for anyone else when they were writing their books?
I know for me, writing my book, it was more or less for inner work and like soul searching and just trying to learn for me so that I could eventually help someone else discover their selves, their own inner beauty, not so much the outer.
Wow.
Motivated
Anyone
me.
else want to share?
What motivated me to write my book? Coming from a divorced family, experiencing the gang culture, and just hooked on drugs, I just wanted to get my story out there to let young people know, hey, you can overcome the negativity. You know, you don't have to become what you've been through.
So who poured into any of you as a writer?
Actually, it was my parents, my aunts, a couple of my aunts who actually valued education, but primarily my grandparents. Just going down south every summer and just being poured love into and just family values. And I just watched how my family grew up in the South. I just knew I wanted to change the narrative of my family and of my life. And I want to make sure to my ancestors I made them proud.
I believe you did.
Who
Divas,
poured into
very
me?
powerful.
I'm sorry. I was muted earlier, so I couldn't unmute myself, but I was inspired, and the women that around me poured into me. My mother, my older sisters, aunts, grandmother. So, I'm the youngest in the family. So, the women in my community, my mother, all the powerful women of that generation poured into me, and I was inspired by that, by their resilience and their strength.
So who do you, anybody, wish to pour into? Because I'm hearing all this love that is poured into you, especially these strong women that you speak of. Who do you feel as though you want to pour into?
So I'll go. So for me, I wanted to pour into the mothers who I felt suffered in silence. Me telling my story with the voice of a mother's pain was important for me to give other mothers who are raising children with disabilities permission to share their stories. So I know sometimes, the fear, the guilt, all those things can overshadow, um, us, and it's a tough situation to talk about openly sometimes. And I think sometimes, raising a child with a disability, sometimes you kind of fade to the back. So me, being vulnerable enough, and then of course the mothers who trusted me to share their stories, they not only poured into me, but um, I'm sure that they poured into others. So the biggest thing for me is to pour into those parents, not just mothers, but parents who silently suffer with raising children with disabilities, just being open and free, to have that community to express, how they feel or be able to share, to help take the burden off.
You all are winners, so there must be something to your craft and creativity. How do you balance honesty and vulnerability when writing personal or difficult truths? I hear you talk about so many people have poured into you, but in your case, Mr. Ware, you had mentioned about some parts of your past. How was that when you started writing about that and you wanted to change the course of things in your family line? So I know that their creativity had to come up in there somewhere.
Well, first, I just remember just stay focused on what I was trying to do, and then just open up about it. You got to start with transparency. If you're honest and people feel that you're just being honest about what you're doing, what you're saying. For example, it was difficult for me saying I was on drugs. It was difficult for me to say I came from a divorced family and I didn't love myself. Even though I had the values, I didn't know how to speak up for myself. I didn't have self love, like I said. But then once I realized, and God really came into my life, and I just realized I love myself. I know who I am. And it took me to care. I developed the courage to say, hey, to those gang members, I'm not even about that life. Once God tell you to do something, I was willing to die for that. And I stopped throwing them pitchforks up. So I followed my Savior, my God.
My God. Wow, I wish I had this on some big speaker somewhere, maybe in on 1616. You know what I'm talking about? Someplace in there to let people know what you just said. You gave it
Yes.
up. Yes. You gave it up, and I am so proud of it. And your book has spoken volumes. Believe me, and it's going to continue to speak volumes. What does your creative routine look like?
the ability to see the ability to see the interspiritual. I use the vision of spirituality to manifest my reality. And I believe that. If you don't see it, you can't make it happen. You gotta believe it.
You got to believe it. Wow. Anybody else want to share their creative routine?
I'll have to piggyback off of that because the creativity for me came with the raw emotion. Um, I think me and Andre both we're talking from lived experiences, so I think the creativity came from that raw emotion, with the reflective insight, allowing readers not to just read the pain, but to also feel the strength, resilience, and the love that also exists alongside that. So I think I have to agree with him on that. It's just that raw emotion that you put in there, just being open and transparent about the journey.
What was the hardest section or chapter for you to write? Now, if it's too difficult to speak about, that's okay. We can skip that. I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable.
Well, my books are fiction, so everything that happens in my book is comes out of my imagination, mostly out of my imagination.
Somewhere along that line, something had to trigger something.
Yeah, that's why I say
Yours was about
mostly
yeah,
my
that's why I say
imagination.
mostly my
Because there are things that I see in life
because
and
there are
things that
things.
I remember living through that I put in my story. And someone just asked me about that today. I put in my story, but it's twisted and molded that nobody will recognize that these are things that actually happened or I heard or experienced or saw. But for one song, the hardest chapter was the last chapter because, well, I'll say the next to last chapter because that's where the height of the story happens. That's where all the bad stuff starts to happen. And even though these are fictional characters, it still hurt my heart. And so I have to get through the hard part so that I can get to the happily ever after. And what a lot of people don't know is my husband, I had him read that story for me because I needed one more reader. And he actually told me that, as he put it, homie got a little misty at the end.
Well, it sounds like there's going to be a part two, maybe called "In My Song." I see
That's
that
a
smoke
thought.
there. Yeah, got to be a part two. You're going to tell me that part was meaty right there? It's got to be a part.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm
What?
working on something else right now,
See,
though.
I'm working on something else right now, though.
For me, the hardest part of
So,
right.
what do you hope?
No, I was saying for me, the hardest part of writing this book, people when you tell people you actually had an experience with the creator, God, they look at you like you're crazy. I remember my granddaddy telling me you can't tell everybody everything. But because it was so prevalent in my life and it was transformative to the point If it wasn't for God coming into my life, telling me and reflecting everything that I've done in my life that was negative, and I actually had a near death experience doing that situation, and I was like, you know what? I got to be real with myself. That was the hardest part, being real and vulnerable and being able to just open up about it, regardless of what
Right.
somebody
Because
may
what
say, you
somebody
know?
may say, you know? Yeah. I was just explaining that so many authors, they don't just write their stories, they actually live their stories. Bits and pieces that some people may say somebody else, but there's a part of us that's in that book. Otherwise, we would not write these books the way that we write them because they're so daggone good. So I'm gonna give it to you. They're so daggone good. When I say dag, you know what I mean. Distinguished author skill dag. They're so Gina, you gonna owe me for that one. So they're really good, and it takes a lot to pour into what you do. But there's always a purpose of what we write. And I'm curious to know what impact this journey had on you. I mean, your work clearly resonates with readers. What impact do you hope this award amplifies for you and for your readers?
Well, for me, like I said, I write fiction. So my purpose in writing is to give my readers an opportunity to escape because the world we're living in right now is backwards, upside down, crazy. And it's stressful and it's hard and it's depressing and it's sad. I want to give my readers something that's going to take them away from all of that for even just a little while and look forward to a happily ever after.
For me, I want to
For
awaken
me,
my readers. I just want them to know to believe in themselves and know that there is a God. And we manifest what we want in this world. We really truly have the power, but you got to believe it. It's not about the Bible all the time. It's all about the energy we carry in us. If you change that narrative and keep it positive and be faithful, you can make anything happen.
if
For
your
me,
book can change,
so for me, I just hope that that readers walk away with a deeper sense of empathy for mothers, caregivers, or families navigating the invisible battles. I just want the book to linger in the hearts of people, reminding them to listen more closely, to judge less quickly, and to extend the grace where they once may not have understood. So that's the biggest thing. It's just that deeper empathy is what I want readers to walk away with.
For me, I want my readers to know that they can overcome, that there is a life outside and after the pain, that there is a purpose in it. Even though when you're going through your pain, there is ways to overcome. And I just want people to know that you can overcome pain and hurt without being ugly on the inside. Like you can heal. You can heal your heart from the broken heartness and you being broken. I just want them to know that there is a life out once you overcome the and really learn your purpose. And like you said, your purpose really comes out. There's no other way for you to find your purpose in life. People, switch want to say, well, that's my passion, but passion and purpose are not the same. You have to really search for God to learn your purpose. And once you learn your purpose, the pain, there you will see that the pain, the reason for all the pain.
of writing leaves, what legacy do you hope your writing leaves?
I hope my legacy leaves. Well, I want my legacy to be for my children. One, that their mom achieved a goal that she wasn't even prepared for, and I want that legacy of that they're readers and that they can do whatever they put their mind to do.
My legacy, I want my children to know, and the young adults in the world, anything is possible. You can be a scholar. You can be anything you want. You just have to, like I said, just got to believe in it. You got to want it. You can change the narrative. You can change this world if you just have love in your heart. You can have a dispute or a disagreement with someone, but got to come up with a common ground. And that's what love and what God is about.
I also piggyback off that the legacy of love for sure. Just because I'm passionate about teaching that important concept of self love, especially at an early age while children are in their informative years. I do believe that it's important that they learn that early on because it does shape who they become as an adult. That self acceptance, of course, and just helping others to embrace their differences and definitely loving who they see in the mirror. So, definitely one of love, one of self acceptance, and resilience.
I know for me, self love is huge, and people don't understand that once you really learn who you are and to love who you are despite your flaws, because a lot of times it's easy for people, to say what's bad about them, but to be able to talk about what's good in you as well. And sometimes that comes from learning who you really are, because the world will tell you who you are, and that's not who you are. That's just who the world perceives you to be. So you just need to learn really who you are. Take the time to learn who you are. So I really hope that, my books will leave a legacy to teach people to search inside. Because once you search inside, then who you are will show to the world.
So now you guys see why these are the DAG Award winners. Just listen to them. You can imagine just by hearing them what their books is about. If your book can change,
You cut out. We didn't hear you.
And
Just
again,
that question.
Yeah, didn't hear you.
if your if your book can change one thing in this world, what would it be?
The hearts of the broken.
Mm.
So many people that are broken in this world, and if they could just their heart, just learn their heart by learning to love who they are, and that will fix their brokenness.
Mine would be.
Transform your life. Transform your life from darkness to light. Whatever it is that you think that's bad that you've done, it could be wiped clean.
Right.
Mm. And mine is just love. I want people to feel like I want people to feel love, to be in love, to because I believe in happily ever afters. I might be wearing my rose-colored sunglasses, but that's what I want people to feel. I want people to feel love.
What do you wish that you learned? Because
Couldn't hear you.
this, my question was, what do you wish that you've learned before releasing your
I wish that I would have learned um, about all the naysayers and negativity that was going to come. I just, I hear people always say they want to share their story, but there's actually a lot that comes with sharing your story. And I think just being a little prepared for the naysayers and the questions, why would you share your story? Why would you give this to the world? Just a little, just to prepare yourself for what comes with, because there's a lot that comes actually with sharing your story, especially when your story is your truth. It may not be somebody else's, and maybe there may be parts of your story somebody may not believe or don't think that that really happened. So you have to be prepared. So if just if somebody would have prepared me, because Just like there's good size, a good, part of writing a book. There's also it comes with bad parts as well.
I've learned that people are very critical of basically of who you are and what you stand for, and actually it stimulates and it reflects of who you are as a writer. But what I did have to learn is you have to overcome that and be strong. You have to have a inner core that's very strong and know who you are to override whatever negativity that may come your way. Because like we were saying earlier, it's going to help someone. Some people just be hating on you because you done it. You know, I had to learn that, and once I learned that and come to the realization, hey, just stay on the path. Because if they was doing something, trust me, they'll be supporting me.
I agree.
So, what was your way of staying motivated just to keep moving along and just, like you said earlier, ignore the haters? Or how did that work for you? How did you stay motivated when you felt like there was some setbacks, there was some writer's blocks, or even who motivated you the most?
You know what? I just stayed true to my stuff and stayed focused to what it is I was trying to accomplish, and that is I wanted to give something back to the world. I never knew I was going to become a writer. However, once I started writing these my emotions down and it took me to get fired from I'm just gonna be honest, from a state job. I became suicidal and I went into my closet and poured out my work and I realized, hey, you got 3 books here. And from there, I took off. I said, this is what I'm going to do. God was like, this is what I want you to do. You stay focused on this. And 5 years, 6 years later, here I am.
Amen. Amen. I'm so glad that you went
Yeah, I agree with Andre.
out and glad that you're still here with us. Anyone else? What motivated
I agree with Andre.
you when you
Once
get
I
so much
started,
criticism and these setbacks?
once I started this journey, it was I knew this is what God would have me to do. He gave me the gift of writing. So once I started, there was no way I could stop. And I told him once I got that first book done that if he continued to download, I would continue to write. So here I am still writing.
I agree. For me, I remember asking God that if I could just inspire one person, then I felt like I've done what you've asked me to do. And I've ended up inspiring people all over the world. So that just keeps motivating me to continue to write. And then when you get, the positive feedback from people who have read your book and you hear them
On the
say, "Oh my God,
side,
really helped
Dee
me."
Dee says, "Amen. Love is so
Yeah,
never spoken wrong before." Yes, they do wish that they were doing something that you're doing, and that happens a lot when we have people who are not supportive outside, and we continue to move forward. It's such a blessing. You know,
You're frozen.
Yes, you bounced out.
so when you see your titles and your names underneath those books, you along there that was able to happen for each and every one of you to be able to get your put out there in the way that you have been able to do it. So I applaud you. All are looking forward to bigger things. What projects or books are you working?
What was your question?
I know that I know that you all are working on
From the little bit that I heard, my 2020 my 2026 goal is to try to get my books across the
Well,
globe.
right
I'm
now
working on
I'm
trying to
asking the question, and I apologize. I don't know where the music is coming from. Since winning the award, I know you all are looking forward to bigger things since winning the award. What projects or books are you working on next?
right now. I'm currently working on in 2026 to try to get my book to go global. I'm working on an organization called African Global Chamber of Commerce. I'm going to be working with Dr. Kamanzi next year and trying to get my books in Africa. That's the goal. And actually, I want to develop myself as a speaker as I get ready to retire and transition into who I'm becoming. That's my goal.
So
I'm working on
Don't worry about.
like it's, I'm working on a new book. I'm going to step out a little bit. I'm going into romance fantasy, and I'm also working on putting my workshop out a few more times this year than I did. I mean, in 2026 than I did in 2025. My self-publishing workshop where I teach people how to self-publish their books.
I am beginning to write the sequel, Shining Through. So you have to catch up on part one if you haven't out already. And then I have started the outreach for speaking engagement, Andre, as well, to sharpen up on that. I want to get out into the schools, libraries, universities. Just a introduction to the condition and an introduction to my daughter. The second one will actually go into more of what a day to day looks like for someone with a severe case of incontinence or pigmenty. So the biggest thing is I want to get into the community more and share my story um, in hopes to again advocate for her and just bring light into incontinence or pigmenty.
Right now, I am currently working on my third book. Hopefully, it will be ready to go probably by the end of 2026. And then I'm also for profit for single mothers. I am hoping right now I'm trying to write grants to get some money to purchase a facility for them to come and stay, and so that they can get information and learn how to build themselves up so that they are able to be successful also not only with their children but also as an individual, because one thing that I've learned being a single mother myself, a lot of times, and not even just being a single mother, just any type of title you take, whether it's wife, dad, mom, grandma, we often forget that we were individuals before we became a mother, and we need to also know that it's okay to be a mother and accomplish goals. So I want hopefully to have a facility sometime in 2026 for single mothers, and to have my book ready to go and be released by 2027.
Um, what advice would you give to emerging authors who often feel as though they are overlooked?
To keep pushing, to keep going, because we all hit that point where it's hard, where it feels like we've hit that wall and we can't move forward. But if you stop, you never know how far you can actually go.
I would say to stay authentic, and like Natalie said, just to keep going. I know sometimes, especially when you're brand new to the author world, the biggest thing is one, get you community of authors who support you. Distinguished Authors Guild, phenomenal organization to be a part of because the support's phenomenal. Where you have people who are, on different paths of their authorship, but the support's phenomenal. But just be authentic in your journey and know that your work is going to reach who it's supposed to reach. So don't give up on that piece of it. I know sometimes if you see someone maybe I know I've seen this is a little bit of transparency before. You're like, dang, they're selling so many more books. My books is not getting out there. But in the end, when you realize the impact that your book has, once it hits your audience, um, so you, like Natalie said, you have to keep going, but just stay authentic is my advice, in your journey and being who you are in your journey.
Yes, I resonate with everything that you ladies said, but one crucial part, I think I need to incorporate that, and that is do it from your heart, not for the money. Do it for your heart, because the money will come. If you're doing it for the money, you might fail. You're doing it for the wrong reason. I had to learn that. It was God that actually told me you got it all wrong. So I got to make sure I let you know. Do it from your heart.
Agreed.
Tell us how they can connect with you, how our listeners and viewers can connect with you to purchase your books, to even if someone wants to get advice because they've read your books, to know more about you and your books.
Well, you can reach me at natsbooks.net, natsbooks.net. That's my website. You can also sign up for my workshop on the page as well.
That's the romance queen, everybody.
You can
And you
purchase
can
my book on Amazon.com, or you can go to my website, andrescreations.com. That is UNDRASCREATION.com. andrescreation.com.
you can
That's Mr.
find mine
Smooth.
on Amazon.com. I'm also at Barnes and Nobles. I'm on all social medias with Shantae Conyers, and you can inbox me. My websites are currently down; they are under construction, but my books are available in Barnes and Noble.
You can reach me
I'm giving
at
everybody their name. That's the
author.
quiet.
I'm sorry. You can reach me at
I said
author
I'm giving
fair.
everybody names tonight.
Yeah, you can reach me at authorfarronmclemore.myshopify. So that's SHOPIFY.com. Or you can follow my author page on Facebook, Author Farron McLemore. You can reach me there as well.
See, I'm giving everybody a nickname. That's precious moments right there. So I do that. Just do that. Even when I get off of the air, I just say, "Oh, this one was that, and this one was that." So I give everybody little names and whatnot because it also helps me to remember who you are. So that concludes us tonight, this unforgettable evening with the Distinguished Authors Guild Award winners. And I know there's so much more to come. We witnessed excellence, we celebrated courage, and we honored storytellers who dared to illuminate truth, healing, and hope. To our gracious host, Gina Gatson, thank you for holding the room with poise, power, and purpose. To our winners, may your pen stay powerful, your platforms expand, and your purpose continue to guide your journey. Thank you, Chicago, for hosting us. You say it's the Windy City. It wasn't so bad that day. And thank you, authors. And thank you, listeners and viewers, for supporting the voices that shape our world. Join us on Monday, December the 29th, for a special episode. Now, I'm usually here on Fridays. We have a special episode coming up December the 29th. We'll be sitting down with the author and co authors of I Am a Living Testimony. Until next time, keep writing, keep shining, and keep telling the stories that only you can tell. Good night, and thanks for keeping it open.